Max Mirnyi serving. Jamie Murray, his partner, cutting off that volley. The Bryans in a bit of trouble here, having lost the opening set. The doubles championship, the Delray Beach International Tennis Championships. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Jimmy Arias. And Murray's doing a nice job cleaning up around the net.
Not a lot of openings when you've got those two, Mirnyi and Murray, up at the net. A lot of reach. Mirnyi has a huge wingspan, and Murray as well knows his way around the net.
Yeah, Max.
Strange team. They're a tough break. They don't have a great return game, so they're not going to put a lot of pressure on your serve. But as we saw in the first set, they'll get hot for one game, make a few returns, and you've got to be ready to fend off that game, that break game. They're probably not going to have more than one chance a set to break your serve.
I think that's what made Max Mirnyi and Jonas Bjorkman such a great team, is that Bjorkman was a great returner and Mirnyi was a great serve and volleyer. So they seem to bring a little bit of both those qualities. Obviously Bjorkman great at the net too. Mirnyi converting that topspin lob. Here's a look at some of the new teams on the 2008 ATP Tour. And Bupati and Knowles, they know the Bryans. They beat them in the quarterfinals at the Australian Open. And Jimmy, some of these other teams are well known.
Hanley Pays, that was Hanley Uliet, Mirnyi Bjorkman, now it's Mirnyi Murray. All the teams seemed to break up. It almost seemed as though they were tired of the Bryan brothers winning all the titles. They wanted to find a combination to give them more trouble.
Just to revisit that list one more time, you can see Martin Dahm and Pavel Visner. They're a tricky team. Daniel Nestor was a very strong team with Mark Knowles. Now he's playing with Zimonjic. So there's been a lot of movement. Bjorkman is now with Kevin Uliet.
Nestor
It's
Knowles
been a merry-go-round.
was not an amicable breakup either, as Nestor decided he felt as though Knowles might not serve well enough to be able to beat the Bryans. And what's funny is Knowles did beat the Bryans at the Australian Open.
That's right, with Bupati. Of course, Knowles was playing doubles here with Marty Fish. You may have seen that earlier. Playing the Bryans in the semis here.
Went to a third set tiebreak in that semifinal loss.
Of course, we're just getting over a week of Davis Cup last week. Of course, Daniel Nestor is playing doubles for Canada, but he's also the captain.
Playing captain. He might start playing singles soon, since he can make the decisions.
He can make all the decisions, yeah. Maybe he'll decide not to play. Yeah, that's a nice step out by Bob Bryan. And well, Mirnyi and Murray have been hit a couple of occasions, some body shots from the twins, but Mirnyi and Murray have a set. Things not looking so good for Bob and Mike Bryan down a set, but we are on serve. The Bryans up 3-2.
This really is the game where they should have the best chance to break. On the Murray serve, they haven't been able to break through yet, but they've had pressure on his serve over and over again. They've had some leads And here's a good forehand return. As Mirnyi was going across, couldn't quite cover that return.
It seems like every time Mirnyi makes a move, they lose the point.
That was too much of a move. That ball was almost down the center of the court, that return. It wasn't really in the alley even. Mirnyi almost overcommitted. He wanted to make sure he didn't get burned in the far alley again.
Another winning return. How about that? So the Bryans have earned themselves some break points. What a combination of returns from the world pair. World #1 pairing, I should say.
Quadruple break points. You don't see that in normal scoring system, only in this deciding point. They've got 4 straight break points, 3 of which will be returned by Mike. 1 down.
15.
That's the other interesting thing. You get to pick your returner, and so the Bryans prefer having Mike making the returns on those 3-all points. He gets 3 of the 4 break chances. That's a tough ask to hold from there. Second serve. This has been a shot that Bob's been able to run around.
Have a breakthrough in the second set, and the first chest bump of the day. Well, here's how they broke.
Well, that second serve, that was a great return, actually, off of first serve. These were all first serves from Murray, and just good returns from the Bryans. And then finally on break point, they convert. Not a great return, but a great reflex. And then some big forehands. Took a while before they finally finished it off. He's gone with that chip lob a few times, too often really, when it's plenty of time there to hit the ball, go for a shot.
That time he got around the forehand return.
That's one of the best forehand returns we've seen. And again, off speed, 94-mile-an-hour off speed serve. They've almost gone to that too often. Murray, that time, was waiting for it. You've got to mix in some pace with that off speed. Bob does do a good job of mixing up his paces on his motion so quick. It's hard to get a sense of whether he cracked it at 135 or if he just hit what you just saw. That was 118. Still a pretty big serve, but Mirnyi was in front of it.
Yeah, that one hit the court. Took a left turn.
Almost like a Roscoe Tanner motion. how quick the motion is.
Yeah. The toss isn't up there very long.
No.
And ultimately, that's the optimal way to hit the serve, is you don't want the toss to drop. You want to hit that toss right at its very peak. So the Bryans consolidate the break. We're headed to possibly a 10-point match tie break. 5-2 for the Bryans.